altar. I came home the same day, put that ish together, you know, cleaned up, made it real. I felt so proud. And I started spending time with my altar. I started building a relationship with my ancestors, and I started giving offerings. And I got this from Google mostly, but I realized that offerings are whatever you see, whatever you have as a resource. So if I'm making breakfast and I typically drink coffee in the morning, I know that spirit likes coffee. I know that my grandma drank coffee, my daddy, I know my father-in-law, you know, people on the altar enjoy coffee. So I make a cup of coffee. I put it on the altar. I sit near my altar and I either have quiet time or I have time and I spend time with spirit, with my dead who have passed. And that is how I develop a relationship and give offerings to my altar personally. On my second trip, oh, and I also got oil. I got oil on my first trip as well. So this is Ancestral Altar Oil, Hoodoo Hannah's oil. She cooked it up for me, and it was just, I mean, it's everything. You can see the coffee beans, like you can smell the cinnamon. I don't know all what's in here, but I'm still a baby herbalist. I know very little, and I'm excited to learn from somebody who like goes in the back, whips it up, and hands it to me. So she gave me this oil. I got some some oil to help me recall my dreams as well. And her tag is be fucking magical, which I'm trying to be. Not trying. I am being more and more every day. Being more fucking magical. That was my first trip. And my second trip, and a little bit about where I'm going. I'm sure I'll do a video about this one day. Is Hoodoo. So looking around the shop, there's so many things that I saw besides the ancestral worship. There was a lot of hoodoo folk magic that I don't know much of. That's not my core with spirituality. So just getting to talk to her, I realized like, okay, I'm seeing a lot more about hoodoo these days and I'm not really sure what it is. So instead of Google, because I know that's going to lead me down a rabbit hole I'm not interested in, I wanted to get a book. And on my second trip, I got the book. I'm on the last chapter as we speak. So after 2 months, I'm going to finish up the book and I'll come back and I'll talk a little bit more about this and what I learned from somebody who I consider to be clearly a master and a hoodoo legend. He was taught hoodoo from an early age. So I feel confident that my base is solid. But a lot of what he discussed in this book also helped me with my altar. So my very last piece is discarding of your offerings. So I talked about coffee, but sometimes if you want to make an offering of food, which is what I learned here, is that when you provide your altar with an offering, you do so by way of listening to what they might like. So when you cook a good meal, you put it on the altar and you leave it there. You let them know this is my offering to you. You know, feed yourself. Thank you for being here. I invite you into my home. That type of spill. But after the food has been there, maybe a couple days is what I realize is good. Until you would eat it, they say. When you can see that it starts looking different and looking almost dead, like the spirit has come and taken a piece out of it. You want to get rid of it. You have to do something with it. So before, I was just pouring the coffee down the sink or, you know, throwing the food away. Don't do that. You don't throw away your offerings, because what I learned is that can be disrespectful to spirit. It's like, why are you throwing it in the trash? So what they suggest is taking your offering outside into nature and giving it back to the earth. Duh. Like compost almost. So I found a special tree that I've been using. It's in my backyard. And now I discard of my offerings in at the roots of the tree. And I say a prayer over them. I thank my ancestors once again for all they've given me and for being here with me. And I hope they receive this offering and not discard of it. And I ask God, I ask God to use it continuously, to feed the earth or whatever animals or however I can help, but not to just throw it away, which just makes sense when you think about it. So that is the long version of how I was led to ancestral worship, and I'm honestly still so new with it. I've only been doing it maybe a year now, and I'm excited just to share. So if you're thinking about starting an altar, do it. Start building that relationship with your dead spiritual guides and your spiritual ancestors. Don't be afraid of death. That's another thing that I'm learning more and more. Even though I wasn't afraid of death, I'm even more comfortable with the idea of death now because I feel so connected, truly. In only 2 months of regularly spending time and tending to my altar, I do feel closer to spirit. So I hope this helps. And if you like this, please really, click the thumbs up button. It really does help. Tell somebody about the video, share it with someone, and, find your own mentor. Seriously, find your own book or something that makes you feel comfortable. Because the one thing I've realized with this spiritual walk for all of us seekers is that it has to make sense. And once something resonates with you, then it's good, But if it doesn't resonate with you, don't force it. So peace and blessings, and I'll see y'all again.